This is Rick Harsch. Let me see if I can adjust this better. There, leaning against a large cup. This is a booktube. Today, I'm going to do a booktube, and not a criticism of criticizers, but a comparison between my small press and a small press in Ireland called btimes Books. And I just got the idea, but before I go on, first I got to remember you can skip this ad in 3 days. Uh, what is it if not an ad? It's always an ad. Anyway, 3 days. You're honor bound. Unless you turn it off right now. 3 days. All right. The problem is that before I get into this, I have a lot of thoughts, that come to me, and but then I got a problem because I take a sip of mineral water, and then I drop the cap. I look down on the floor, I don't see the cap, and I think, okay, well, I'll just pour it into the cup, and bottle's empty, recycle. Even though the plastics industry doesn't necessarily do what they say they're going to do, they got to just start putting things back in glass. It's simple as that. But so that solved. I stood up to get my phone and stepped on the cap. So I don't know. Life is full of these odd moments, and the trick of the novelist is to present these odd moments in an interesting way. And if the odd moment is already interesting, the trick is not to reduce it. btimes Books sent me 3, and the one that I was most interested in was this one, which is meet a major American writer. Now, why is that on the cover of this book? Well, because they're in Ireland, and I'm guessing that one thing that they've got over our press is English is the third language in my neighborhood. So there's no sense in they have bookstores here, but very small English sections, and I'd have to make a deal with one of them to put my books on the shelves, and I just haven't really done that. I'll have to do it with my book on Easel. Get it in Easel bookstore. There's one, and we'll see how difficult they make that for me. But she's probably, this is in Dublin. She is, because the woman who runs the press is a she. I'm a he. That doesn't matter. But Dublin matters because I'm sure she's got bookstores where she could put this. And so, Irish readers are very good at English, probably much better than readers in the United States in general, because their literature is dominated by some of the most difficult writing, with James Joyce, and challenging to the let's call general reader, Samuel Beckett, and Flannery O'Connor, and that trio outweighs any trio in the United States, because if you can come up with a trio of writers that maybe some people consider difficult, some of McElroy. Pinchon is supposed to be difficult, but I find him just, easy, pleasurable, but he's considered difficult. Then you add a third one. I've been told my own books are too difficult, and I don't get that from anybody who's recently buying the books. Too difficult for the common man. No, nobody ever says that. So she can sell books in a store, and so that justifies that. Now, otherwise, let's look at the cover. Without that, um, they have they always have this shape, and so that identifies the book, and so it works. It's always going to be part of their cover, and it's not it's nothing fancy, and it just says that's a btimes book. And if you like their press, then you're going to see that, and you're going to take a second look. So it's good to mark your press. Um, I love the cover. That's the planet Earth. This is a sort of abstract New York City, I would guess. And here's their name. And one thing that they do that I like, there's no logo. Um, the logo is btimes books, and I like that subtlety. You know, that you can see it or not see it. But I have not read the books. They just came. Um, so uh, but I did look at trying to choose something to buy from them. This was my first choice, and I read on Goodreads a selection from the first book that turns out to be the very first sentences of the book, after an apologia um, that I'll skip right now because we're not talking about the content so much as we are the book, the one small press as opposed to another versus another, whatever. Okay, uh, this is the first page, and that's what I read on Goodreads. And when I read it on Goodreads, I thought, I'm not that interested in that. And then when I opened it and just said, let me see how the book starts. And I see, oh, okay, it starts with what I already read. But it works now because basically what it is, book form. And in book form, we're used to reading in book form, not in quote form. And so basically, I'm saying basically all the time. I got to stop that. That and the sorry. But the interesting thing is that this is how Caledge imagined it and wrote it, no doubt, in form. And then what is done to it in the process of getting to sell the book, is it's removed from this book look, and then it's put back in the book look, and it's back how it should be. And so it's really it's an odd little process that our words go through. Um, the book itself is I guess I would only be able to compare it of our book of our books. I can only compare it to the Driftless trilogy, um, the Central Park West trilogy, and interestingly, some of the people that have been that this has been compared with, um, I've had the same people compared. But this, one thing that's really funny about comparing authors is most of the time they're way off. But a lot of people cannot possibly conceive of writing a review without um, throwing in comparisons. And if I gave you a list of all the people I've been compared to, you'd have no idea what to expect, The first name I come across is Swift and Kafka. I have gotten, over the years, Kafka for sure. Swift, I don't know if I've ever had Swift. But the next one is Paul Auster. Yeah, I've been compared to Paul Auster more than once. Mallarmé, Dostoevsky, Mallarmé, no. Kafka, Mann, Kafka, yes. Camus, yes. Pessoa, Gombrowicz. Pessoa, no. But that'll come after enough people read Olaf Palme. I'll get a Pessoa or two. But Gombrowicz, that intrigued me because I've loved Gombrowicz since I read his Cosmos. And, I've been compared to Gombrowicz by a fellow student at the Iowa Writers Workshop. And what that did was sparked my interest in that person, who turned out to be Todd Kim, who you know on Instagram, if you follow Instagram, as the guy who has Serial City, the Serial City podcast, which is just genius. Look it up, Serial City. And he also put out, that's his press, Maintenance Ends. It's an imprint of Iowa's Ice Cube Press. And he put out the best looking book that I've ever had the pleasure of getting published. So already you've got Gombrowicz, Todd Kim, Rick Harsch, Richard Caledge. Very interesting. Now the presentations of the books, you wouldn't be surprised to know that this is a pocket size, but you got to have a fat pocket because it's 700 and some pages in relatively small print. This book is a bigger size, and the print's a little larger, but it is heavy, really heavy. I'm one of them publishers who doesn't know shit about paper and so on. It's easy on the eye, so it's obviously thought through. They know. Oh my God! Look at a title called "Sex Addict." Oh, can't read that in front of my Pentecostal friends, if I have any. Back of the book, we have a summary, and Hooligan Literary Magazine of Moscow says Caledge represents the best in contemporary fiction. He has every chance to become, why not, a living classical author. Okay, good blurb, but it's not over blurbed, and you have to have, in most cases, you have to have a little bit of a summary here, and then more comparisons. Caledge has been compared to Kafka, Auster, Beckett, Bataille, Camus, Gombrowicz, nominated for the National Book Award, twice for a Pulitzer, and so now you know that actually, some people know who this guy is. I've never been nominated for a National Book Award, and I just saw just leafing through, I saw an epigraph from Pessoa. That gives the reviewer something to talk about. But let's talk about how the publisher approaches this. And there's one line. There's several. There's several pages of praise, blurbs, and so we have to move on past that. Okay, here is the publisher speaking. Central Park West trilogy is destined to become a cult classic, and we hear that a lot. In my own book that I just showed you, it was said early on, and now it's being said that it is a cult classic. I don't know if it is selling enough to be a cult classic, but you hear that a lot. But what she does here is nice. Central Park West trilogy is destined to become a cult classic, pressed into the hands of friends with the promise you've never read anything like this before. And it's simple and believable, and I think that is the best contribution individually by the if it was the publisher herself, but it was probably her, and I think that's a nice move. Further comparisons. I thought I had a lot more to say about it, but this is called dead air time. I'm reading Pinchon's Against the Day, and the truth is there are sections in this that I find really interesting, and well, it's all interesting to someone, but some of Pinchon's writing in this book has absolutely no interest for me, and some has a lot of interest. So when I get to the end of the interesting section I'm on now, I'm just going to dive right into Caledge. This seems like a really good one. I also bought Colin O'Sullivan's, see that shape again, and the Starved Lover Sings. Now, this was a mistake in a way, but it's when mistakes happen with good intentions, then you have to follow it and find out, was it really a mistake. This one, there's more work on the artwork on the back, and it's very pleasant to look at. You get the repetition of that shape in a different way. I like her designer, but the reason I say it was a mistake is I wanted something by an Irish writer in Ireland, and she recommended this over Killarney Blues, and I didn't look to see what it was, and it's two things. It's one thing I don't really like. It's a novel of the future, near future, I guess, so I don't read anything like that, and now I'm going to have to, and so that's a good thing. That's the way to make the best of it. And I also wanted something specifically in Ireland, and this takes place in Japan, where the author lives. So I'm going to have to relax and stretch my my wife's going shopping, and but she also threw in an extra, Richard Caledge, the assisted living facility library, which is already funny, and that may be an actual photo of the author. That's my guess, but again, you have the cover art. It's very nice. You have this, and I guess what's great about this is you can use it in so many different ways. There it is on the back again, in a similar style. But look at there aren't many books of this particular color scheme, gray and black, that catch your eye. But this really does. I love the way this book looks, and so I think that my impression is okay. Svetlana Pironko, publisher, she put it right in here, and with a personal note, and yeah. So clearly, she or her press. I don't know how many people she has working. She's a nonprofit. It's a Better Times Books is a nonprofit like mine is, and but I really want every cover that we make to be really good, and I think we've done well with that so far. Um, she has um, uh, uh, 3 books here with good covers, excellent covers. I mean, what makes this cover? So often actual faces on covers can ruin them, but when they're covered by a hokusai wave, um, then you got something much greater going on, and I think these girls are dark forces in the book. So I think there's all the more reason to put them on the cover. Um, let's see what she does here with titles. Okay, um, that's a nice font there. If it is even a font, I don't know. Maybe she made it up. Maybe it's her handwriting. Let's see what this one has. Um, we have to get past. Oh, yep, another mark of the book. They all have the same um, handwritten title page, or it looks like handwritten title page. That's another unifying factor. We're only going to have that for our books. I mean, the logo does that, but we also for our the rest of our Chandler Brossard books are going to be done in this style. So there's going to be a Chandler Brossard. They're all going to be Zach Tanner original collages with the bare minimal spine with the interesting cover. Color. So yeah, it's refreshing to get books from a small press, and one of my compadres in fiction for many years has been Seshu Foster, and he's been published by Kaya Press, which is they publish, I think, almost exclusively Asian writers or partly Asian writers. Seshu is half Japanese, and he also is published by City Lights. And his latest book is coming out this month on the 22nd. It's called Eladal, East Los Angeles Dirigible, and do I have a East Los Angeles Dirigible Air Transport Lines, and it's a book of his wild writing, and which means any kind of poetry and prose mixed, separate, whatever, along with a man named Arturo something. I'm looking for the. Do I have anything that'll show the? I got these postcards from him, but they're for other things. Atomic Aztecs is his one of the great books of the 21st century. Really is. But look for East Los Angeles Dirigible Air Transport Lines. He told me that I'm in it, but maybe in disguise. I'm not sure. But I only found that out recently, and I've been plugging this book for quite a long time. But it would be nice, if Seshu was published by btimes or Corona Samizdat. I suppose, being on the West Coast and being a West Coast writer in the United States, City Lights is a good choice for him. I think he's had some good luck with them and some not so good luck with them, but it's still City Lights, and I think his books get picked up by classrooms a lot. he gets a lot of whatever sales his publishers get are from classrooms. And anyway, Seshu is one of those people who remind us with his work and with his mouth that you know, this is where you're going to find some of the best writers that'll be acknowledged as such in the future. Caledge. How many of you have heard of Caledge? I hadn't. That doesn't mean much. And even if I had, with my creeping dementia, I might have forgotten by now. But Caledge. And who knows what's going to happen with Colin O'Sullivan? You know, you got. I have to read this now because you know, and I'm pretty convinced it's going to be something I'm very glad I did. I mean, Kurt Vonnegut. I wouldn't have read Slaughterhouse-Five if somebody described all of the science fiction parts of it, and that's a terrific book, and I expect this to be too. So that this is very long, but I had to talk about that problem with the water. Now I need a sip of it. Mineral water. It's the kind of guy I am. A lot of people around here call me Captain Nature. I bet people call Svetlana Captain Nature too. Anyway, we are naturally in the same game, and I'm very, very pleased. I guess I want to say one more time, a lot of things. I like a book to be pleasing, and the most pleasing thing is that this thing is heavy. It's very heavy. It's heavier than it's how many pages is it? It's not quite 600 pages, and here we got another one, and it looks bigger, but it's much lighter, much lighter. Totally different paper, and I just these books feel they're a little heavy. This is very thin, but it's significant weight in the hands. You got one of our books. This weighs 70 grams. You can do your conversion, people from the United States. This is like a feather, and it's probably not many more or less or fewer words than this one, and this is substantial in weight, and this is a feather. So, and both feel good and both look good in my opinion. So, small presses. I'll probably do another one on one of these books when I've read it, or maybe all of them. When I've read it, I'll do a booktube on the book. Maybe a classical Noah-esque booktube. Maybe even I'll rise to the heights of, not that the Noah Clemens is everyone who reads it must converse, is the loaths, the lower depths. No. Leaf by leaf. I wanted to say, maybe I'll do a leaf by leaf quality one. Maybe. Can I do it? Can I? We'll see.